Derek Ball.
Thank you, sir. Looking through this bill, and in particular Part 2, and looking at clauses 20 and 21, the theme that stands out with the intent of this is that it's passing the buck. And it's an absolute dereliction of duty by this government to pass the buck, and responsibility of maintaining that safety net that I've mentioned previously in this House, that the government has the responsibility to maintain, to ensure that it has integrity, that it catches those that fall. And state housing is an integral part of that safety net. But what's happening now is that, like I said, that dereliction of duty, passing it on to NGOs, to community organisations that are underfunded, under-resourced, understaffed, and they have to take the brunt of the effects and consequences of legislation like this. But there's a question that I need to ask, and everyone should be asking, and the government should, and the Minister in particular should answer, is how did it get to this stage in the first place? They can stand up and give the situation and the reasons why it needs to happen now, but how did it get to that situation in the first place? And like Chris Farfoy has already mentioned, this has been happening slice by slice over the past 7 years to get to this stage where there is some feasible reasoning in dreamland with all of the positive outcomes where the government believes that it's all candy floss and lollipops, that they can put this responsibility on someone else and try and make it believable. But the fact is, what are the real consequences for the people on the ground and the NGOs that have to take up all of these responsibilities? And I've got an example on Palmerston North where, in my electorate where I'm based, where we've got a trust, Shepherd's Rest Trust, who houses over 60 people, the most needy. They had MSD funding, which was taken away. They had to get funding from the Lotteries Commission, and it was not renewed this year. And there's a potential now that there will be over 20 people without beds unless a private organisation or NGO steps in and takes over from that. But what are the consequences? So you've got the real responsibility of the government that needs to look after those needy people being put onto the NGOs that have not got the funding, have not got the resources, and they are balancing on a knife edge about the funding and keeping those people in with beds. The fact is that this will make it even worse, this legislation will make it even worse in the regions, sir. And what the concern is for New Zealand First is that this is going down the pathway a step closer to the voucher system that Mr. English was talking about with the social system. So that spells doom for the regions. Because what that means is, if it's not financially viable in the regions for branches to be open, to look after the people, then they will close. And it's happening already. The Salvation Army has closed 7 branches in the regions and bringing it back to the main centres. And we're talking about the 2-tier system again. So, in closing, sir, I would like the Minister and the government, any government member, when they want to stand up, answer the simple question: what's the priority? Is it profit or is it people? Because all the way through this legislation, and especially through Part 2, it all looks like it's about the bank balances, it's about the surpluses, it's about the profit, and it's not about the people.
I'm going to call Adrian Ruffy.
Mr. Chairman. Part 2, sir, Subpart 1, Goods and Services Tax Act 1984.